Okay, so, hi. I'm out here weeding my garden. And, well, something just happened. Something horrible, amazing, and frightening has just happened. You see, I'm out here weeding the garden. And let's face it, weeding the garden sucks. So, here I am thinking about all the things, how much weeding the garden sucks. You know, I mean, there's some good points to it, there really is, you know. For one, man, if you truly need to do something that will get you away from your family, like if you are desperate, you know, sometimes you can go downstairs to the basement and you can tinker with things, and they'll mostly leave you alone until it's bath time or something else, you know. But you know, something emergency happens, the kids hit each other or something, and you know, you need to be called in, step up to the plate. But if you truly want to be left alone, under no circumstances bothered whatsoever, a pure, blissful, 100% guaranteed escape, go weed the garden. For whatever reason, the fear of having to join you weeding the garden trumps everything else. Trumps everything. Suddenly, the wife can handle every fight. Suddenly, the children are no longer hurt. Go and see your dad. No, I'm okay, Mom. I don't hurt anymore. I don't need to go see him. Suddenly, they want to go to bed on time. They brush their teeth well. They behave in the bathtub. You know, the fear of weeding the garden trumps everything. It's wonderful. It's blissful. Yeah, you still have to go out there and weed the garden. But, you know what? You could be out here for like 4 hours and no one else will show up. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. But you still gotta pick the weeds, and you know what? Let's face it, they suck, right? They suck. Nobody wants to pick weeds. Hence, why you're the only one out here. So here I am, weeding the garden. And I start thinking, you know, because that's what you do. Sometimes you just zone out and go into your own little world. And you start thinking about, how could I do this? How could I do it better? I think there's no way to do it better. And then I start thinking about, you know, when you pick morel mushrooms, I don't know how many of you have ever heard of morel mushrooms, but morel mushrooms, they grow on the hills of BC, and you can just go out and pick them. I mean, they're not there all the time, but you just, you know, whenever they start showing up, you can go out there and you can pick them. And, you know, you run into a couple other mushroom pickers out there, and there's usually somebody on the main road where all these people just sell their mushrooms to this guy, and he gives them cash. Kind of like reverse drug dealing or something. I don't know. Everybody just shows up and this guy's got cash and everybody sells to him. I don't know what he does with the mushrooms. He sells them somewhere. Who cares? The point is, you go out, you pick mushrooms, and you make money. I used to do it as a child. Now, as a child, I thought, how stupid is this? We go out into the mountains and look for these stupid mushrooms and spend our weekends picking them. We don't really go for hikes. We don't really go for the lakes. We just pick these stupid mushrooms. Well, what I've since found out as an adult is you can make really good money picking mushrooms. Like, My parents would make $1,000 a weekend easy. Not that I ever seen any of that money helping them pick, but I'd like to think, hey, we picked $1,000 on a weekend. I at least picked $50 worth of that. I mean, did I see any of that cold hard cash? No, I didn't. But lead me to thinking about making money picking things, these weeds. See, if it gets really bad and I need one of the children to come out and help me, God forbid, if I can actually get them out here, I have to pay them. I don't want to pay them to pick weeds. I'd much rather get paid for picking weeds. But that doesn't happen. These aren't morel mushrooms. You can't sell them. And then it happened. Something happened that's almost too beautiful for words. I had my first red greenism. And the scary part about that is I didn't even notice it was a red greenism because it happened so naturally that when it didn't quite work the way I wanted to go bigger and better. And then it struck me that, oh my God, what have I just done? Well, it's amazing. It didn't even, like on the cartoons where they have a little light bulb above the guy's head. It's like, oh, this whole world lights up with this new idea. This was better than that. This, in fact, gave me a light bulb, gave me an idea. This, in fact, gave me the idea that my wife would be proud of me because I had done the weeding in record time. Now, gentlemen, that should have been my first warning. If you ever have an idea in the garden about doing something different than what your wife has instructed you to do, I mean, if you want to think outside the box when you're in your garage, when you're in the shower, when you're at work, if you want to have a new and creative idea when you're on your own, go for it. But when you are tending the vegetables so that your wife can feed your children good, healthy vegetables so they grow up big and strong, and you have an idea that's slightly unorthodox, don't do it. For Pete's sakes, don't do it. Obviously, I'm a man and I didn't follow my own advice. I didn't even have that advice in my head at the time I thought of this. So I went and did it. See, funny thing about morel mushrooms, I told you that's what got me onto this topic, is they don't grow all the time. They only grow at certain times. Morel mushrooms only grow after a forest fire. So here I am, thinking about morel mushrooms. Yeah, thinking about forest fires. And like a green and red beam of light coming down from Possum Lodge, I got the idea that instead of picking the weeds, I could burn
But it's okay. You think, oh my God, what? You can't just light your garden on fire. First of all, you're in town. Second of all, you're going to burn the vegetables. And thirdly, you can't just light a fire in your garden. I know, it's okay. I thought about that. See, what you need is a really small, controlled fire. So that it doesn't burn the vegetables. Because, you don't just want to light a big fire everywhere. You want to only burn what you're wanting to burn. So, okay, I need a small, controlled fire. But also, it's not really going to work very well having a normal fire because, well, the weeds are green and they're growing. So, okay, I need a really, really hot fire. Because that way, I need to dry out the weeds and then kill them. It just so happens I have something for that. Oh, it's over on the table now. I have a plumbing torch with not just propane, but mixed gas called MAP gas, which burns way hotter. So yeah, I did that. Oh, it gets better. Oh, it gets better. Well, it wasn't big enough. It worked really good for the little small ones. You know what? I could just sit there and burn off all the little tiny guys, and it worked wonderful. It was fantastic. But, it wasn't really fast enough, and it didn't really get the big ones. So, in true red-green style, I thought, well, if she doesn't find me handsome, she should at least find me handy. I have to get this done. So, I made the torch bigger. I got the B-tank, which is like big bottle for soldering or brazing, big long cord, like one small step down from an oxyacetylene torch, but I can get different tips for it. I can get really big tips. And it worked really well. Right up until the time when it was a little too much. Right about the time that it got a little bit too much. It's like, when you can something's about to happen, or you go to say something, and the moment you're saying it, it's like you're looking at the words coming out of your mouth, and you're like, oh my God, I shouldn't be saying these words because these are the wrong words, but they're already coming out of your mouth. It's like that. And as I'm using the torch, I'm going, oh my God, I've literally turned into red-green. And I brought my hand like this. And just like the red-green videos where everything doesn't go according to plan, well, didn't really go according to plan. So now I have the torch put away, and the other torch put away, and my hands are dirty, and the bucket is full of weeds because I'm doing it the right way now. That's it. Guys, have a good night.